Hey everyone, it's Black Mask 1, and in today's video, I just wanted to kind of do 5 reasons on why I personally think or love Card Wars. And, I'm not going to use this to bash, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. I just kind of want to, throw out my reasons on why I've always preferred Card Wars, over the two. But because I know that everyone has a preference to what they like in games, especially card games. So so this is, like I said, this is just my personal preferences on the game. But anyway, let's go ahead and start with number 5. And these aren't really in any kind of specific order either. They're just kind of there. But the number 5 reason why I think it's a great game is because it's easy to pick up. Now, and I'm gonna, some people may hate this, but we do all sorts of games. We're not just exclusive Card Wars on the channel. It's Diamond Top Gaming, so it's just gaming anything. I personally though I've always liked board games and card games simply because to me, and this may sound lame, but it always brings people together, I guess. And what I mean by that is just like, everyone has to be in the same room in order to play it. Now, I know that, nowadays there's, online, you can play games online, but I always like a good old board game because everyone can just kind of meet and you kind of have a little party. But anyway, the reason why, but anyway, it's easy to pick up. Now, let me get back to that. Now, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, where if you take someone that's never played it before and kind of throw them into the world of Yu-Gi-Oh, they kind of get lost. Now, well, there's really no fixing it to me because it's only going to get worse. But, if you take, random person and throw them in the Magic, it's not too difficult. I mean, you can pick it up. You can pick up on it pretty fast. But whereas, but Card Wars to me though it's the easiest because, I studied this through Thug. I guess we did it through trial and error because he had never played Magic, he never played Yu-Gi-Oh, and he's never played Card Wars. And out of all of them, he said that he liked Magic the most. But he said that Card Wars was the easiest to understand. He could just pick it up and just instantly start playing it, And that to me kind of spoke, I'm not going to say volumes, but it kind of showed me, how good a game I guess can be. And, I mean, I know that, Yu-Gi-Oh! And many people say Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic are like a child's card game, but to me that is... You cannot be any further from the truth in that matter because I've never... Look, if a child can actually competitively play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, I'm going to do a hats off to him. I mean, I'm talking about 15 and under. If he can figure out, or 16 and under, if they can figure out how to play it, then by all means, I'll give a freaking handshake or whatever. But because that is insane. Because even now, I'm still having difficulty learning some of the new aspects. Because if you've seen any of our Yu-Gi-Oh videos, we only kind of use older cards. I mean, of course, I use the newer tunes that came out in like 2014, but we still use mainly older cards. We don't really use. Well, actually, we haven't used any Pendulum or Synchro Monsters. We've used a few Xyz, but nothing too crazy. But anyway, though, the number 4 reason why I think that Card Wars is, better than others is kind of the, I guess, collectability of the cards and the just overall, the fun of, collecting them. Now, if you've collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon or even Magic, that's kind of all the same thing. But, what I like about Card Wars is that since it's relatively, I'm not going to say new, but it's kind of unknown. So not many people actually know about it, so they haven't made too many cards to the point to where it's chaotic. To me, there's a certain point to when card games get to be too chaotic because there are so many different expansions, so many different cards. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If it's a diverse amount of cards, you can always think of cool strategies. And that's something that I think Card Wars would do well. nowadays in Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't really, you have to have a certain archetype, or in Magic, you have to have a certain effect you want your deck to do. Like I was talking to a guy at, my local card shop, and he said that his deck was basically all about making your opponent discard cards. And he showed me how some of his, monsters worked, and that's exactly what they did. The whole time, instead of taking damage, you can just discard all of your cards. So it was very kind of unique how he had put it in, because it was, I believe, a swamp. I'm sorry, not swamp, a black, blue, and red, and I think white deck all in one, and I thought that was insane. But that's the thing, is that Card Wars to me is collectible because it's not too daunting for someone if they are a collector. You can easily get all the cards. I've gotten every card that has come out in the game except for the one that comes with the DVD, and I doubt I really ever get that one. But because if you get the collector's packs and then you get the booster for the Glory Booster pack, and then naturally the doubles, you kind of have them all. You may not have like, 3 of a kind, but you at least have maybe 2 or even at least 1. You're guaranteed at least 1 no matter what. Whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh, that's not really the case, and that was something that I found out whenever I purchased a Dragons of Legends 2 unboxing, and if you guys have seen the video, you know that I was rather disappointed that I didn't get Toon Kingdom. So I got a bunch of Toon cards, but I didn't get the only card that I needed, which was Toon Kingdom. So to me, I thought that was a waste of money. But whenever I purchased for the Glory Booster pack, and I got at least one of everything, I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like I got a raw deal. But that is the thing about that is the thing about buying booster packs or even buying the booster boxes. You're never, I guess most boosters, you're not guaranteed one of everything. So, I guess I should have seen my luck that would happen. But anyway, I've talked enough on the collectability, so let's go into the next one. So, something that I've always found to be really cool, and this is the number 3, is that it kind of incorporates elements of the Adventure Time show into the card game. Some of the monsters and things I swear could have been directly out of the show. I think one of the cards' name was a Niceland's card, and it's called like Mrs. Fluff or Fluffy, something like that. If you floop it, you get to heal 1 damage. And to me, that is something that's directly out of the Candy Kingdom. But in a lot of the earlier Ice cards, I swear they could have came right out of the Ice Kingdom. Like one of the Emperor Penguin, I swear, to me it looks just like a taller Gunther. I think that's what they're trying to go for. But anyway, I just think it's unique that they incorporate elements of the show. And now, of course, Yu-Gi-Oh has this exact same thing, and that's the reason why I kind of also like, that aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh is that, if you follow the show, you can sort of follow how the card game works, I mean, you can't do that with Adventure Time, because all the Card Wars shows for Adventure Time are always, really fast. Yeah, it just shows the ending of the match. It doesn't really show, what cards they played and things like that. I'd like for them to do just one 30-minute long episode on them just playing a card game, but that's just me, Most people wouldn't probably watch that. But anyway, so now to my number 2 reason is that the game is very competitive. Now, many people will say that Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, they're all competitive, and they are. I'm like, Yu-Gi-Oh is heavily competitive, but so is Magic. And the thing is, though, is that with Card Wars, to me, it's not so competitive that people can still have a good time, even if they're just using like one of the pre-made decks, from the collector packs. But if you buy like a structure deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, and then you try to use it against someone else, to me, it's not going to go over too well. Excuse me. Sorry, everyone. My throat's getting a bit dry. But like I said, to me, whenever you try to do I went to local. Okay, let me do a story. So I went to my locals, and I was gonna duel someone there to kind of just try to get back into it. And this is a funny story because as soon as I walked in, you guys have seen in the movies where no one's, whenever the new people walk into like a saloon or something, everyone just turns around and stares at you. I swear that happened to me. It was the creepiest thing I've ever seen. I felt just like in the movies. The awkwardness like just punched me in the stomach. It was insane because everyone was talking so loud before I walked in. But as soon as I walked in, like everyone just stops talking and just turns directly toward me. It was just so creepy. But anyway, so I went there to kind of duel someone, and so instead of actually dueling though, I just watched to kind of see, find someone that may be a bit casual. And I swear to you, people were doing the most crazy moves. People were whipping cards out, taking them back. It was insane. And I was just I think I had just brought my dopey gambling deck. So I said, well, I'm not going to last here. So I just, bought a few, I think I bought a few magic cards that day. And then I just left. I was like, I can't do that. I'm not going to just sit in here and lose in 2 turns. And that's what I've never really liked about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that, you can lose so fast. But I need to get back to Card Wars, though, because this is just being me bashing all the other ones. The things I don't like about it. But anyway, so like I said, Card Wars is competitive. You can be really competitive. You can make a really competitive deck. I think my Corn one's competitive, even though I've kind of had some problems with winning lately because Riddler's been getting the drop on me. But for the most part, though, it's really easy to me. It's easier to make a competitive deck, I want to say, in Card Wars. But at the same time, though, I will see where, in Yu-Gi-Oh! You can just look up the most expensive card and just instantly know that's going to be the best card, It's the best card in the game at the moment. So, but let's go ahead. Roger. Oh, sorry, guys. My phones are ringing. But let's see. Let's go ahead and go out to the number one reason why I prefer Card Wars is that, it's a combination of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic. I know I've been crapping on Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout this whole video, but I do like it. I like the older kind of, I'm okay with Synchro and Xyz, but I will probably never get behind Pendulum, and I will probably never get behind Link Summoning. But I definitely do like Xyz. I think it's very cool. Riddler, that's one of his favorite types of summoning because it's so easy to get stuff on the field. I prefer the old, not tribute. I prefer the old fusion summoning, but, that's just me. But, that's just kind of what I like about the game, though, is that, Card Wars is like a merging of Yu-Gi-Oh! And, Magic. There are to me, there are archetypes within the game, that being, of course, Corn and Blue Plains. But they also have it so that you can only summon, certain cards if you have certain landscapes, which to me is reminiscent of Magic. So the game to me is a good merging of both, and you can easily swamp someone in the game. I know that some people say that Card Wars takes way too long to end a match. But to me, if your deck's good enough, you can easily win a match fast. But, if you find someone that's actually really good, the match can go on for quite a while. And I find that to be interesting. Because I remember whenever, like I said, the best match me and Riddler ever had was whenever I only had 1 HP left. And I wound up completely turning around the match and beating him. And that to me was that was probably our longest match too. It probably took us 2 hours to finish. We were both almost out of cards. I think I only had 5, and I think Riddler only had 4 or 6. But, the game, all these games have their merits. There are certain aspects of Yu-Gi-Oh! I like their archetypes. I like being able to just, look up the word tune and you just grab a bunch of tune cards and you can, make a decent deck. But I also like how in Magic, where you can kind of have 4 of a kind in your deck, not just 3. And I also like that you can draw 6 cards on a turn, not just. I mean, no, I think it's 8 now actually. But I just like how you can draw more cards, and just the aspect that you have to play planes in order to summon creatures. You can't just summon random creatures without having planes, or playing spell cards. And that to me is why I like the cost system in Adventure Time, because it's very cool to not unlike in in Yu-Gi-Oh, where you can just place down all your cards in one huge sweep. But in Card Wars and Magic, there are costs for them. Do you want to place down a creature, or do you want to place down a spell? You have to really decide these things, and that's what I like about it. It's a bit more. I'm not going to say strategy, because Yu-Gi-Oh also requires a hefty amount of strategy, but it just seems to be a bit more planning on the part of Card Wars and Magic, because you have to really decide how you want to spend your mana, or how you want to spend your action points in Card Wars. But anyway, though, everyone, if you have any, if you agree with me, go ahead and leave them down below, or if you disagree with me, leave your comments down below as well. I'm always open for open ears, for discussion on this. Tell me why you prefer, Card Wars over other games. If you do, if you don't, that's fine. Go ahead and leave, why you prefer Yu-Gi-Oh over Card Wars, or even Magic over Card Wars and Yu-Gi-Oh, things like that. But if you have any suggestions for the channel for us to do video on Card Wars, or even Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic, I'm not discriminating. We play any kind of games here. We play HeroClix as well. But if you have any suggestions, leave those down below as well. But as always, I guess this has been Black Mask 1, and you've been watching Diamond Top Gaming.